You are opening your banking app while standing in line at the grocery store. Your thumb hovers over the login button for a second because you are afraid of what you are going to see. You do the mental math. Rent is due in 4 days. The car insurance payment just hit yesterday. And you are praying that the number on the screen is high enough to cover the food in your basket without your card getting declined. The screen loads. You let out a breath you did not realize you were holding because there is just enough left. But deep down in your gut you feel that familiar heavy sinking sensation. You're working hard. You show up every day. Yet for the 50th time this year you feel like you are just barely keeping your head above water. My name is Miles, and I spend way too much time thinking about how to build a better, calmer, more intentional life. If you are someone who is tired of the stress that comes with living paycheck to paycheck and wants to build real financial security, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. The anxiety you felt in that checkout line is not because you are bad with numbers. It is not because you are lazy or incapable. You are fighting a battle against a psychological state known as survival mode. And until you understand the invisible system that keeps you trapped at zero, you will never break through to your first $10,000. Most people think being broke is a math problem. They think if they just made $5,000 more a year, everything would be solved. But look at your own history. You have likely made more money now than you did 3 years ago, yet the anxiety feels exactly the same. That is because survival mode is not a bank balance. It is a neurological loop. When you are in survival mode, your brain prioritizes immediate relief over long-term security. It is why you order takeout when you have groceries in the fridge. It is why you buy the new clothes when your credit card is already maxed out. You are not stupid. You are exhausted. You are using spending as a way to self-soothe against the stress of your life. The enemy here is comfort disguised as safety. We convince ourselves that we deserve the treat because the week was hard. We tell ourselves that we will start saving next month when things calm down. But things never calm down. And that tomorrow disguised as planning keeps you stuck in the exact same cycle for years. You wake up. You go to work to pay for the car that gets you to work. You pay for the apartment that you leave empty all day while you are at work. And you spend the little that is left trying to buy back a tiny piece of happiness. This is the trap. And breaking it requires a complete psychological rewrite. But here is the truth that nobody tells you about money. The first $10,000 is the hardest money you will ever save in your life. Going from 0 to 10,000 is infinitely harder than going from 10,000 to 100,000. This is why it feels impossible right now. You are pushing a boulder uphill from a dead stop. Most people never realize that wealth building is not linear. It is exponential. But you have to survive the initial friction to get to the momentum. What if I told you it is not about motivation at all? What if the reason you cannot save is because your identity is currently set to consumer rather than owner? To break this, you need a system that bypasses your willpower entirely. We are going to break this down into 3 core principles. These are not quick hacks. These are fundamental shifts in how you view your resources and yourself. The first principle is the dopamine reversal. Right now, your brain is wired to release dopamine when you spend money. You see the item. You swipe the card. You get the hit. But that hit lasts for about 20 minutes and is immediately followed by the guilt of the transaction. We need to rewire your brain to receive dopamine from the act of keeping money rather than releasing it. This is about reclaiming your attention back from a world designed to steal it. Marketing departments spend billions of dollars leveraging behavioral psychology to make you feel inadequate without their product. They know that 80% of purchasing decisions are emotional, not logical. Your brain resists saving because it views it as a loss. Feels like deprivation. You need to reframe saving as buying your freedom. Every dollar you keep is an employee that you have hired to work for your future freedom. Here is exactly how to start this rewiring process tonight. You are going to implement the 72-hour rule. For the next 30 days, you are forbidden from buying anything that is not a strict necessity like food or fuel without waiting 3 full days. If you see something you want on Amazon, you add it to a list on your phone and you walk away. During those 72 hours, the emotional trigger will fade. The dopamine craving will subside. And your logical brain will come back online. I tried this for 30 days a few years ago. I realized that 90% of the things I thought I needed on Tuesday were completely irrelevant to me by Friday. I did not just save money. I saved the mental energy of managing more junk I did not need. Now you might be thinking that small purchases do not matter and that it is the big bills that are crushing you. Let me be honest about this. The small leaks sink the ship. It is not just the $5 for the coffee. It is the habit of giving in to every impulse that crosses your mind. By controlling the small things, you build the discipline muscle to handle the big things. The second principle is the invisible wall. This is where we address the fact that you are human and you will get tired. Willpower is like a muscle. Most people try to lift too much too soon and they fail. If you have to make a decision to save money every single time you get paid, you will eventually fail. Decision fatigue sets in. You have a bad day at work and you decide to skip the transfer to savings just this one time. And that one time becomes a new habit. You need to build a wall between your income and your access to it. This is about automation. We resist this due to a fear of losing control or needing that money for an emergency. But the reality is that if the money is in your checking account, you will find a way to spend it. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available. Well, expenses expand to fill the income available. Here is the action step. You need to set up an automatic transfer that happens the morning after your payday. It needs to go to a separate high-yield savings account at a completely different bank. Do not get a debit card for this account. Do not download the app on your phone. Make it annoying to access. Start with a number that is uncomfortable but manageable. Maybe it is $200. Maybe it is $50. It does not matter. The goal is to remove the decision. When I first started doing this, I felt panic. I felt like I had less money. But a strange thing happened after 2 months. My brain adjusted to the new lower balance in my checking account. I naturally curbed my spending to fit what was left. And in the background, without me lifting a finger, that savings account started to grow. It is like building a dam. At first it takes effort to construct. But once it is built, it holds back the water effortlessly. The third principle is the identity of the architect. This is the deepest shift. You have to stop viewing yourself as a victim of the economy and start viewing yourself as the architect of your life. When you are in survival mode, you use language that reinforces your lack of power. You say things like, "I cannot afford that," or "I will never get ahead." Your brain looks for evidence to support what you tell it. If you tell yourself you are broke, your brain will filter out opportunities to make or save money because it wants to be right. This is known as confirmation bias. We need to shift your language from restriction to choice. Instead of saying "I cannot afford it," you say "That is not a priority for me right now." It sounds subtle, but it changes everything. It puts the power back in your hands. Here is the implementation. You are going to start tracking your net worth. Not your income. Your net worth. That is your assets minus your liabilities. Most people in survival mode have a negative net worth and they are terrified to look at it. Tonight I want you to open a spreadsheet or a notebook. List every debt you owe. List every dollar you have. Subtract the debt from the cash. The number might be negative. That is okay. You cannot change what you do not measure. When you start tracking this number once a month, you gamify your financial life. You stop looking for the dopamine hit of spending and you start looking for the dopamine hit of seeing that negative number get smaller, or that positive number get bigger. You start to see yourself as someone who is building something rather than someone who is just surviving. Let me show you what this actually looks like in real life. The first month you do this, nothing spectacular will happen. You might save $300. You will feel pinched. You will feel bored. You will want to quit. This is the valley of disappointment. It is where most people turn back. But this is where it gets really interesting. By month 3 you have $1,000 in that separate account. For the first time in years you have a buffer. When the car breaks down, it is an inconvenience, not a crisis. That creates a massive reduction in your background stress levels. Because you are less stressed, you make better decisions. Because you make better decisions, you save more money. The transformation happens when you hit that first $10,000. $10,000 is not enough to retire. But it is enough to say no. It is enough to walk away from a toxic boss because you have 6 months of expenses covered. It is enough to sleep through the night without staring at the ceiling wondering about rent. It changes the way you walk into a room. The goal is not just the money. The goal is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are safe. You are building a fortress around your peace of mind. Now you might be thinking that this sounds great for other people, but your situation is different. Your rent is too high or your debt is too heavy. And maybe that is true. But the principles remain the physics of wealth. You cannot out-earn a bad spending habit, and you cannot build a future while living entirely in the present. The only way out is through. And the only time to start is right now. So here is your move tonight. I want you to log into your bank account. I want you to look at your spending from the last 30 days. Find the 3 biggest leaks that were emotional purchases. Calculate the total. That number is the price you paid for comfort instead of freedom. Do not beat yourself up. Just look at it. And then set up that automatic transfer for your next payday. Even if it is just $20. Prove to yourself that you are in control. The first $10,000 is a war against your old self. But it is a war you can win if you stop fighting with willpower and start fighting with a system.